What a week it has been. I don't know if you saw this, but Nancy Pelosi was so upset about the tax cut bill that she said it was Armageddon.
The debate on health care is life-death. This is Armageddon.
Really, Nancy? Armageddon? First, I'll be honest with you, I never took Nancy Pelosi as a hardcore student of the book of Revelation. Certainly not a premillennial prophecy student. But then I went and read Revelation chapter 16 and I realized it made sense. Verse 15 says, "Look, I come like a thief." That sure sounds like Congress. And he goes on to say, "Blessed is the one who stays awake and remains clothed, so as not to go naked and be shamefully exposed." Bunch of people running around naked? Yep, that's Congress, all right. Verse 16 says, "And then they gathered the kings together to the place that in Hebrew is called Armageddon. The seventh angel poured out his bowl into the air. And out of the temple came a loud voice from the throne saying, 'It is done.' Then there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and a severe earthquake. No earthquake like it has ever occurred since mankind has been on earth. So tremendous was the quake. The great city split into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations collapsed." Wow. I just thought it was some legislation that changed the tax rates. So let me put into perspective what Nancy Pelosi thinks Armageddon is and try to just help you understand the heart of the tax bill. Simple terms, not trying to be partisan, but the simple effect of the tax bill is that you will keep more of the money you made. Now, if you think you can spend your money better than the government, then ultimately you're going to like it. Now, if you'd rather have the government take more money from your paycheck and you had rather the government decide how to spend it, then I guess, yeah, this bill is Armageddon. Because if the government is your God, taking power from your God, the government, well, it's the end of the world for sure. But I want to tell you something. I worked in government, and if government is the best God we can get, I'm going to be an atheist. So here's the tax bill in its simplest terms. If you want more of your money and the power to spend it as you please, you'll like the plan. If you want the government to have more of your money so it can redistribute it to the people who didn't work as hard as you did, but would like for you to give them more of what you worked for, then you're not going to like it. You might even think it's Armageddon, the end of the world. But it's probably not the end of the world. By the way, the president also officially recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel this week. Happy about that? For many of us, especially those of us who believe that the Bible hasn't been repealed, this was a great decision because it recognized that Jerusalem has only been the capital for one people, the Jewish people. It's the seat of the Israeli government, and it's the indigenous, historic, and undivided capital of the Jewish state. Here's the premise, just so you understand, simple things. If you believe that Israel's enemies ought to determine where its capital should be, you simply will not like the president's decision, even though the vote to do this was actually unanimous in the U.S. Senate by 90-0 earlier this year. That's right, one of the few things that Democrats and Republicans have agreed upon. Of course, until President Trump actually did it, and then some criticized the very action they voted for. But then again, we're not talking about common sense, we're talking about Congress. But would we let Iran or North Korea tell us where our capital had to be? Pretty sure we wouldn't. So we simply allowed Israel to say where its capital is instead of letting their enemies making that decision. And by the way, it's the only city where it's always been and only been. So see, it shouldn't have been that hard. A few weeks ago, we featured a powerful segment on the opioid crisis in America. Tonight, we're broadening the discussion to substance abuse and addictions. We don't often consider the negative effects that substance abuse has on society as well as on the economy. and disease, crime, accidents, domestic violence, homelessness, and lost wages. Those are just the start of the list. Here's a little brief overview from our very own Juan Garcia.